Hey everybody, I'm very excited with yet another play therapy rock star, Dr. Joyce Mills. Joyce, I have been wanting to do your global story play training for so long, and I have followed you. You are one of those magical people, and I think we just have a certain spirit, connection, and soul connection. And I've always felt that way about you. And I'm like, okay, at this time of healing, that you're a perfect person to be chatting with today.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm so honored to be here. And I brought out my special love. I want to share love with everybody. And these are just great and fun. And so I'm sharing love to you and Tammy. And thank you so much for inviting me. And I just want to be here for you and for all our play therapists and the parents who talk to children who they touch. So we've got to bring a lot of love into this world. So there we go. And I would be, I'm not seeing clients right now, but I am continuing to do training, and I'm actually going to put some new things together for, for our new way of communicating.
Oh.
And I see this time as an opportunity. So I see crisis as a time of opportunity. And you know me. You can ask me any questions, and I would like to way for people. You probably know how I work, but I think this is a time where I'm not trauma focused. I never have been. I heal trauma with because I'm Ericksonian, works of Milton Erickson. So we're always looking inner strengths, just like we're looking now for a vaccine to heal. Okay, we're not looking for more problems. We help the problems as they come in, but we're looking for something that will heal. And what heals is our story. In time, we have to activate those strengths. It's like through the dark clouds, we have to find the rainbows. And like Maya Angelou said, we have to be the bow clouds for someone else. And I know I'm paraphrasing that, but I take it very seriously. And I've dedicated over 40 years to working in this way. And I feel blessed that I have actually seen in huge, I want to say, in huge ways that people heal in community. And we are community. And I also want to say, and I'm going to be very straight right now, very clear, okay? In Ericksonian work, the work shows, and this is also in neuroplastic neurophysiology, what we see has a direct effect on us, okay? What we see has a direct effect on us. So as play therapists, if we are constantly reading about the trauma and how the trauma affects the body and how the trauma affects, and we're reading this and we're listening to it, we must do something to rebalance immediately, because I don't have the exact quote, but I because I wasn't, we said it's going to be relaxed. But Ephraim van der Kolk said this, that when we see an image, it is repeated in the body.
Mhm.
Okay, this is Erickson and Rossi, Dan Siegel, all Betty Alice Erickson and Roxana in their book Hope and Resiliency. There's a lot of neuro research, and there's a lot of anecdotal, or I want to say empirical. So my awareness is that as our therapy community is engaged, and I do read online what people are going through, what they're struggling with, and at all, no minimizing, but they have to do something. You have to do something almost immediately, either for or immediately, to have something to hold on to have some pictures, some music, poetry, anything that's going to balance out and bring your inner strengths immediately. It's critical. So you can tell I get really serious about this, but it's based on very strong work.
Right. And that's part of your beauty is your passion for this and
It's
knowing.
passion. I love you all. I mean, this is coming from love. It's coming from love. So I want to share that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I know you also said that you would share when I asked you to come on today, I said, oh, because you're always so creative with so many of the healing work that you do. And I'm like, let's do an activity because I could use some healing. So
Okay.
I said that we can do a little activity today. And this is
That's
an
fine.
activity that could help others.
I would love that. I always go to my go-to, which is one of the best, easiest ones. And then I can also share another one that's so simple. And basically, what I want to share is something that people can do, therapists can do, and they can encourage their parents to not have to run out and buy all kinds of fancy, creative things. Can use nature, no question. But if they're in the house, and let's say lots of people, like I know, working around the world, and different, very small spaces where people are sharing houses, people are sharing rooms, then you don't have the ability to just run out and order or the financial ability. So I always make things where you can take it to another level or you can keep it heart-centered and very simple. Because I'm very like you, I'm all heart-centered, very much
I
heart-centered.
think that's how our souls connect, that the two of us
I
are
definitely.
so
And
heart-centered.
yeah, and we are connected now, soul to soul. There is no distance with energy. There's no distance with soul, and there's no distance with heart love. The distance is in the physical, but the physical is not really all that there is. And we know that. And story play is mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So it's how a person sees their spirituality, how they celebrate their spirituality. There's not one way. It's honoring each and every moment that connection means to them. It's never from here. It's always from here. Because the heart knows the truth.
Mhm.
The heart knows. We have to action. We have to take action. But okay, so I asked you to bring some crayons, and I'll try to do this as quickly as I can with you, and then let's see what happens. And then I have another little one too, if that's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to split our screen. I won't
Okay, but just a minute.
stop being an artist, but
Sorry, I said this before. BT just throws himself all over because he wants attention. And yes, you will give it to, I know. What would you want to say? Well, what? Oh, he's saying that he gets his strength from going inside.
mm,
That he knows outside there's things going on, but strength, turtles, no, yes, you want to show that. Yes. And when you get scared, oh, okay. So you go inside and he can get protected. Well, you see, turtles know a lot
mm.
about how to protect. Okay, so this is BT, and he's traveled all over the world. He's amazing. Yes, I know, I know. Don't get a big head now, because then you won't be able to go back.
Anybody who knows you, Joyce, knows BT. BT is very much a part of,
Yes,
like, your co-therapist.
he's my co-therapist, definitely. Okay, so you had said all we need is either markers or crayons, right? We've got crayons, markers, whatever you have, and 3 pieces of paper.
Oh, three
Very
people.
simple.
Okay.
Simple. Okay, so Tammy, would you be willing to go along with me and you kind of let me know what it is um, that what your problem is right now? I'm going to use that word just for simplicity.
Okay.
Not total. Please know I'm totally respectful, but our time.
Right. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say nothing so small, but this pandemic. I mean, from
Okay.
of the not being in my playroom and just the not knowing. The not knowing
Okay.
macro, the macro of how many more deaths are there going to be, and just watching this. And I think my biggest fear right now is that people are, states are opening, and it's pretty soon for them to be doing it, and that scares me. So I don't know if that's really my problem, but I think it is because it's a world problem.
So do you think, so would you say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, I want you to use your word. Would you say it's a fear? Would you say it's, I mean, how would you
I would say it's
describe the,
I'd say it's a fear.
okay.
It's a fear for the future, I guess.
Okay, fear for the future. Okay, great. Okay, could you draw a picture or a symbol? You know, I use the word now apps. So for the word symbol doesn't always relate for kids,
Right,
but it relates for us. But I use, when I do this with kids, I'll always say, like, we all have apps, and
right.
an app can open, you know, it represents what's in the file. Anything you want.
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong. There's no analysis. This is the artistic metaphor, the inner reach drawings, and no analysis. Great.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Hope nobody judges my drawing. I draw.
Well, if they're Ericksonian, they can't. If
Okay.
they're analytical, they might.
Okay.
But I'm Ericksonian, so it's always the key, Tammy, and this is really important, is utilization. There's never a judgment. There's no analysis. It's complete.
Okay. So,
Now, draw. Okay. I'm going to ask, before you do that, I'd like you to look at it. No, look at the picture and take another piece of paper.
mhm.
Okay, and draw how that, on a separate piece of paper, draw how that will look feeling all better. How would that look feeling all better? Not how you feel all better. How would the picture look feeling all better? Great.
Okay.
All right. Now look at picture number 1 and picture number 2.
Mhm.
And if you want to show that, you may.
Picture number 1,
Okay.
picture number 2.
Okay. And then I'd like you to look at picture 1 and picture 2. Just put them there, and then you have the third piece of paper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Draw a symbol that comes to your mind of what would change picture 1 to picture 2. Or a symbol of where in your life you've had that all better feeling. Either one. A symbol. And you know, those who will be watching this, they can go along with you. You know, I would invite them to get some crayons, markers, paper. That's all you need.
My colors aren't great of my
They're all perfect.
crayons. Okay, I just dropped.
Even if you had one, and I'll tell you why.
Mhm.
I'll give you an example.
You're going to give me an example of the. Okay.
Okay, well, I'll tell you that that one of my colleagues, Dr. Dolores Moreno, she just wrote an incredible book, I'm showing her book, not mine, The Universal Language of Children. And she created a wish for change from around the world technique. This is the size of the book,
Wow.
okay? And she took just what we're doing, this idea, and took it around the world and did research on it. And she just changed it a little tiny bit, a tweak like we do, and she called it the wish for change. So same idea, okay? So we never know. Around the world in Africa, where children had nothing, they had nothing. They had one piece of paper and some crayons and pencil. Astounding. So, okay, so let's see. I want you to look at your picture number 1, and whoever else is doing this, with you, look at picture number 1 and notice, what do you experience as you look at that picture?
Well, it's a tornado. So a lack of control and just chaos of spinning, just seeing things. I don't know. People say it's plateauing, but it's all been such a uncontrollable tornado. Just
Okay,
here.
so you experience like an uncontrollable tornado, you're
Mhm.
saying? Okay, look at picture number 2. Put that one away
Okay.
and look at picture number 2.
Okay.
And notice, what do you experience when you look at that picture?
Well, it's the same lines as a tornado, but it turned into water. And water is like my safe place, my serene place, and like knowing like there'll still be waves, but almost very like meditative and kind of turning into the beach of just
Mhm.
more of a controllable flow, not quite as scary and chaotic as.
Okay, so that's what you experience. Okay, I
Mhm.
don't want to put words in your mouth
Yeah.
when you look at it. Yeah, okay, okay. And then look at picture number 3.
Heart hug of my symbol. But like, one of the things I think you said, if things are better or if things were resolved, and that, I really think with this pandemic, things are basically, they're always going to be different post
Yeah.
pandemic or not. Like we lived pre-pandemic, and like I was gonna even actually do a face mask, but I just did a band-aid, so we're still there. Who knows how much we're gonna even be able to hug anymore, or let's hope once this all happens.
Okay, so now what I would do with you, because I'm listening to you, okay? So this is different. This is Ericksonian is also very client-centered, completely client-centered. Okay, but what you were just saying is you were going off into the fear.
Right.
So while you were holding that, I would have said to you, okay, now draw a picture of that
Mm.
worry. Okay, so I would keep, like you're turning rocks over. I would never dismiss it, but okay, all acceptance. So I'd say, oh, so there's that worry. Okay, so how does that worry look like to you?
Mm.
So then you draw a picture of that. Then how that would look, feeling a little better in the third picture.
Mm.
Your third picture. Now, I didn't tell you what to draw. I didn't tell you where to put it, right? And I used the word as you look at it, as you look at it. Okay, this is very important. Not look at it. As you look at it,
Mhm.
okay, notice what you experience. I don't say feel. Because you could say, let's say, and this is for sensory, this is a very sensory regulation exercise as well, or activity as well. Because when, number one, we dissociate healthy dissociation from pain, fear, worry, the problem, whatever the problem is, it's out there. And then what you're doing is you're then activating, just like we have different apps, okay? You have an app inside for what all better looks like, but you'll never find it. It's always covered over.
Right.
that problem. So what you want to do is just say, how would that look associated? Not how you feel. How does that look feeling all better? Not how you feel all better.
Right.
Okay. So now you're utilizing the skill and you're activating unconscious, we call it unconscious association patterns.
Mm.
For example, if you hold something that you love, an unconscious association is activated, right?
Right.
Right? I mean, it's unconscious and then it becomes conscious,
Right.
right? If you're holding something you love. So you want to be able to activate that, like your unconscious medicine, a healing bridge. For example, if you, let's say someone has a headache and they say, oh, I know Tylenol really works well. I'll go get some Tylenol. Okay, on their way to getting Tylenol, they're already, it came to their mind that's going to be their medicine.
Right.
Okay, well, we need to now activate unconscious associations, medicine, images that help us secure, more comfortable as we go through the difficulties.
Right.
It's not that the difficulties aren't there. It's how do we utilize them and embrace them. And also, this is a transformational process. So healing is transformation. It's not cure.
Mm.
Right? If somebody even takes a vaccine right now, it's going to transform the antibodies in their body. Right? It's going to do that. It's going to find its way within the body. This is what we want to do. So simply, it's 3 steps. If you're working with really tiny children, I do it with 2 steps.
Okay.
Okay? And I've done this with 1,400 children in Indonesia.
Wow.
And they don't speak the language, and they're from the most impoverished area. So I am saying I've seen results in tiny, but what I want you to do is look and see now, look at your second picture and look at your third picture.
Mm-hmm.
And again, notice, what do you experience?
There's still sadness.
Okay, so now this is when we end. I would like to this, okay, and then draw how that sadness looks.
Right. Okay. So that
Okay.
was the next time. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, the other thing, I'm sorry, I'm rushing because this in itself is a whole.
Yeah. No, it
And
is.
that's why I'm very hesitant on doing these kinds of things on the internet,
Yeah. Well.
because I would stay with you
Right.
for as long as
Right.
it took,
Right.
because now I would like to kind of draw sadness. Then how would the sadness look feeling all better, and what would change it? It's not that there's no more sadness, but we want to activate healing potentials.
Right.
We have to activate them, otherwise we stay in that. Okay. Now I want to say tomorrow, tonight, I start lighting a candle for my husband. He's 4 years that he passed, starting tomorrow.
Mm.
And you know, in the Jewish tradition, we have a yurtzeit, a candle, special candle. I can't tell you what's happened. I know over these years, I miss him, of course, every day, but there is an enormous sense of healing. And I that tells me something, because what I do with others, I do with me.
Mm-hmm.
I would never have a client do something that I will, you know.
Yeah.
So you have some rocks.
I have some
You have
what?
some rocks. You have some rocks. You said you
Oh, I
brought
sorry,
rocks.
I'm sorry. Yes, the connection isn't terrific, but it's a little spotty. But I think we'll still be okay for the video. I have a handful of rocks.
Okay, just choose anyone. Anyone. Don't even worry. Choose anyone. I'm going to do it with you. Okay. Now, this is important. As you hold the rock in your hand, let it teach you something that would be helpful for you to know right now. And just close your eyes. You can move it around in your hands. Something that would be, and then you can open and look at the rock. Show you or say to you.
I had my hands on the rock, and it was almost that heart hug of that just kind of encompassed me. And I felt that warmth of like, it's going to be okay. Like, what things may be different, they may not, but in general, like, we're all going to be okay. And I just felt this comfort, and of and I think it was just that stopping and the stillness and the grounding of the rock, that it really grounded me from my very completely polar opposites, right? This
Mm-hmm.
tornado to the waves to just being grounded of, you know what, it's going to be okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that was really, I really felt that heart hug, kind of giving me the
Cool.
warmth of it.
Good. So that's that stone. You want to hold on to that because that's your association.
Mhm.
It's your heart hug, or what it said to you. It's your personal message.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And one other thing that I do say, like when you with your other pictures, when I finish with clients or we're finishing, I always say, what do you want to do with that first picture, the second picture, and the third picture? And for children, I call them the magic happy picture. So they can take that picture, two or three, and sometimes they just want, oh, I want to keep it. Sometimes they say, no, I want to rip it and go away. Whatever a child wants to do is okay, but they're wonderful to put up so you continue to see what your inner resource gave to you.
Mm.
No one told you what to do. No one told you, if a child just puts a dot in a corner, that might be analyzed one way, but if that's the child's all better, that's the child's all better. And
Right.
this, by the way, you can do sand tray too. It's a very powerful approach to use with sand tray.
Right. Yeah. I've been thinking about all these for sand tray are
Yes,
great.
everything. Now, I know we have to end, but I do want to end with a little bit of a metaphor that came to me. And it's kind of a new one in a way, but I think I posted a little bit, but um, people were talking about when are we going to get out of this darkness. And I kept seeing a sunflower. I mean, I'm a little, and I saw a sunflower. And then I kind of looked and said, you know about flowers. And I made sure, like I do with the butterfly, to make sure it's solid uh, founding. It's I don't want to say just imagine, because imaginary is powerful, but it's element of the sunflower. And the sunflower begins in the east, and it's dark. It's sleeping, very dark. But then as the day goes, it seeks light. It doesn't seek more darkness. It seeks light. It seeks the sun. The light gives it the nourishment to grow healthy, to grow strong. And then it takes that light, and as the sun goes down, it goes back into sleep. And it rests again in the darkness.
Mm.
But it takes the light for it to grow. darkness and into. So I leave that with you and with everybody. Our nature, our natural inclination, which is what Dr. Erickson knew so beautifully, is that we seek light. This is natural. It's in that, and I think I wrote that in my article, this last article in March, not Dr. Erickson, but on mindsets. And it's so powerful. So we need to be the sunflower.
Right.
There's darkness, but we seek the light and to bring that back into our earth, into our life. This is the goal to me of a healing therapist, a healing play therapist that brings that light into the darkness of our clients so they can heal.
Beautiful. Joyce, thank you. Thank you so much for spending the time and for me to do my own process. I think I'm going to continue with these. With
Please,
yeah, and but be well and thank you so much for
you
taking time
too.
and
You too. And little BT says bye. And he's always here. People know me with BT, but
bye, BT.